United Airlines is changing the standard questions for flight attendants. And the questions? I think they're even a bit more difficult now. In this video, I'll present the 9 questions United is likely to ask you in the face-to-face interview. But I'm already going to give you some tips on how to answer. Hello, how are ya? I'm Romeo Gutierrez. This is the Fly Deck Briefing Chow. I've been a recruiter and headhunter for 28 years with extensive experience in the North American and international markets. Currently, I provide training for 45 airlines around the world for recruiters so they can find the best candidates for flight attendants. Let's go to the first question. This is an old question, but the standard for the answer, the requirements for the answer, have changed a bit. They'll ask right at the beginning, tell us a little about yourself. Give a presentation about yourself. For this answer, currently the standard is 1 minute and 30 seconds for the response, no more than that. And it's very important that you describe your personality traits. Right. Before, United like to know a bit more about your hobbies, about how you see the world. So more general things like that. Not anymore. They want to see your personality. So I've brought 3 examples here that could be interesting. I could say, hello, how are you? I'm Romeo Gutierrez, telling you a bit about myself. I've always been considered by my colleagues and my family to be a very consistent person. Everything I start, I like to finish. I like to complete it with excellence. I'm very focused. Proof of that is, bring proof of what you're saying. Proof of that is that I've been studying to be a flight attendant for 4 years. Today, I speak 3 languages, and I'm now learning a 4th language, which is Japanese, because I believe that can help in my training as a flight attendant. And I'm quite skilled at following standards and protocols. And I believe these 3 characteristics can also help me and help United continue to be the largest airline in the world. So notice, I didn't spend much time talking about myself. It's a fictional answer for you to understand. But I bring 3 behavioral traits and mention them in the answer. Second question, here we go. Why do you want to be a flight attendant for United Airlines? With this question, be careful not to give a response that sounds too rehearsed. But you need to bring a well-thought-out answer. Can you understand the difference? If it's that answer that the United recruiter hears from every candidate, oh, because United is the best airline in the North American market. Oh, because United has a plan for global growth and expansion. Well, those are answers that all candidates will bring. Try to bring it here. I always say this, your heart, so that you can provide a good answer. Besides that, right? Obviously, it's important for you. Once again, to show that there are characteristics in your behavior that align with the company's behavior. So I could say, I'd like to be a flight attendant for United Airlines for 3 reasons. First of all, I like personalized service. I don't like standard service. I think the customer has to leave delighted. And since I've worked in customer service, I follow rules and protocols, but I also believe in personalization. And I see that United is a champion in this regard. A second point is care. I believe that when we work in a job where safety shouldn't be 100%, it has to be 150%. The care for procedures, the care for people is extreme. And I see that United in this aspect is the best. So that's another reason why I want to work for this company. Try to do it this way. 1, 2, 3. First point, why I want to work. Second point, why I want to work. This will also bring strength to your answer. But let them be things thought out and they come from the heart. Let's go to the 3rd question now. Before I go to the 3rd question, I've pinned my ebook in the first comment of the video and in the description. The 50 errors that when a flight attendant makes in any selection process, they fail. Since I'm not going to make a video telling these 50 errors, I've put it all in an ebook for you to look at. Check out the first pinned comment and the video description. It'll help you. The 3rd question is, give an example of when you had to deal with a difficult customer. And how do you react to stressful situations with customers? Every time in the United face-to-face interview that an example is requested, Bring an example. It's no use giving a theoretical answer. So I'm going to give you a tip. Okay. Before the United interview or other airlines in the United States or the world, I always say this: already take to the interview. Here in your mind, your suitcase of examples, your chest of examples, okay? What examples can you tell that show that you know how to manage conflicts, that you know how to provide service that exceeds customer expectations, that you manage to turn an angry customer into a customer delighted with the service? If you work in customer service, as I've been working for a long time now, think of 3 stories where you had this. Lead and roll. Tell these stories in front of the mirror. Tell your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mother, your father, so they can give you feedback and you can take these stories to the interview for this type of question, okay? So every time you have one, give an example. The 4th question is, stay with me until the 8th and 9th, which I think are the ones people fail most. How do you deal with a colleague who doesn't do their part at work? Is there any type of person you don't like working with? So here, I'd say this. You can give an example, but what United is looking to hear are 4 fundamental competencies that, look, if you want to grab a pen and paper or your notepad and write this down, because I think these are the 4 pillars that have gotten the most flight attendants hired at United. 4 behavioral characteristics, okay? It's not enough to say it and not be it. The ideal is to say it and train to be it. If you believe in this maxim, right here in the comments, I will train to be it, okay? I will train to be it. But the 4 characteristics are flexibility, resilience, readiness, and being a rule follower. Flexibility, resilience, readiness, and being a rule follower. How do you deal with a colleague who doesn't do their part? I could say, look, I'm a person who follows the rules very well, so I'll guide the colleague, and if it's something more serious, I'll report it to the lead flight attendant. I usually try to be a flexible person, so there isn't a type of person I don't like working with, and I think the most important thing is to be resilient under pressure during tasks, following all safety protocols. That's above any friendship. And also ready to help a fellow crew member and ready to help the passengers. So that's how I work with colleagues who don't do their part, and I have no trouble working with other people or other cultures. So notice that I included in my answer resilience, flexibility, readiness, and following rules and protocols, okay? Shall we move on to the 5th question? Are you with me at this point in the video? Leave a like and subscribe. Don't watch the videos without subscribing. Help me out by increasing the number of subscribers to the channel, okay? There are videos here every Monday and Wednesday. World Aviation passes through here at Fly Deck Briefing. So I'm asking you to subscribe and also leave a like. Want mentoring from Fly Deck Briefing on Google Meet, live and online? So I can get to know your selection process, to train you for the face-to-face interview, or a video interview, whatever stage of the selection process you're in, for any airline in the United States or the world, you can reach me at this contact here. It's WhatsApp, but also Telegram. It's pinned in the first comment of the video and also in the video description, okay? To book individual mentoring sessions, you can also do it through the website. The website is www.flydeckbriefing.com. There, you'll find the sessions, the prices. You can already schedule and make the payment right there. Even through Hotmart, which is a platform accepted in over 104 countries with clear refund policies, okay? And it'll be great to mentor you so you can get your career off the ground. Let's move on to the 5th question now. This is a question that United has been asking, I think, for the past year. It's been very common lately. How do you deal with strict rules? Do you have an example to tell us? So remember, the recruiter is asking for an example. I've already explained that you need to have a chest of examples in your mind. 3 examples told in about a minute and a half, more or less, okay? But regarding strict rules, what is the recruiter there expecting? They're looking for consistency, and that you can follow what is asked of you. So they don't want a creative flight attendant. They want a flight attendant who follows rules and procedures. Creative to delight the customer as long as safety rules are not violated. So you have to be very careful. And as for how you handle strict rules, I could say I handled them very well. I believe consistency in service is linked to compliance with safety procedures and protocols. And I'm going to give you an example. And then you tell an example, tell a story of a rule and a procedure that you followed in your old job and that was praised and that customers praised, anything like that. Okay? Fixed question. Look at this question. It's easy at the same time, but at the same time, it ends up eliminating many candidates, which is, are you adaptable? How would you handle a sudden schedule change in your work here at United? So United has had quite a few problems in the last 2 or 3 years regarding the lack of flexibility of its flight attendants. Not in general, but some attendants. United is a very flexible company, so it needs flexible employees. Safety procedures and aircraft mechanics are not flexible, but the people who serve the passenger must be flexible. So, are you adaptable? Answer: yes, I'm quite adaptable. I always try to adapt my daily life to the company's needs. Then the question comes again, how would you handle a sudden work schedule change here at United? So, I could say, you can count on me for any kind of change. I'm a flexible person. Try to give an example? I'll give an example. For instance, when I worked at the Copacabana Palace Hotel in Rio de Janeiro, Rumelo City, we had several schedule changes based on seasonal periods and tourist flow. So many times I had a family commitment scheduled, but there's a change in the schedule. And I always accommodated the company because I understand that's my profession and my duty. So you can count on me for that. So I give a small example and convey that confidence. What? 7th question. Let's go. What does the word care mean to you? Then remember, okay, United is the airline that most, I think it's the expression of care. Expression of care for its employees. The expression of care for its passengers. The care, I'd even say in the sense of pampering, a treat, pampering the person. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pampering, extreme care. So when asked about this, I'll give you 3 more words or 3 competencies or 3 behaviors that the United recruiter, when they hear them, thinks like this. This is the candidate. The words are anticipation and passion for serving. So I could say the word care to me is linked to you observing someone's needs even before they ask you. I think this sense of anticipation is what charms me most about United. As a United passenger, I've observed several times that a small restlessness or a look I give, I already have a flight attendant there who's noticed my need. I think that's the expression of care, and I intend to participate in that actively. After all, passion for serving others, passion for serving cultures, passion for serving, connecting people from different places in the world is something very noble within this mission of being a United flight attendant. And that's what the word care represents to me. So I've crafted an answer here within this issue of the sense of anticipation and the passion for serving. If you liked my answer, leave your like. Write in the comments. Romulo, I'm here until now. I'm here until now because many of your competitors have already, left the video, but you're here with me, and I thank you for that. 8th question. Do you like different or repetitive activities? Can you explain to me? So here they're asking if you like repetitions or if you like to always different activities. And to be a flight attendant for United Airlines, it's important that you have both competencies, both the ability to adapt well to repetitive routines, because it is repetitive, believe me, okay? In fact, in any North American or global airline, pay close attention to this. Anyone who's very restless, who likes different things all the time, who is usually someone who won't last long in the career, won't stay for long. So that makes the recruiter a bit apprehensive. So try to show that you're someone who has no problem with routine. But on the other hand, try to show that you're someone who likes to learn new things too. A protocol changes, a service system changes, you're ready. So I could say, look, I like both things. I adapt. I like learning new things. I like when something new comes along to develop, to learn, and to teach others, but I also have no trouble with routines. I can follow routines well. I'll even give you an example, and I can bring up one of the stories I've thought through before. And the 9th question, which I think, well, it's not a new question. Not at United, nor at the other airlines, Delta, American, anyway, the other North American airlines, Alaska. It's not a new question, but it's a dangerous question, very dangerous, which is the question, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes people give answers that end up putting the whole interview, all the good answers at risk. But I've brought a manual, a tutorial on how to answer strengths and weaknesses. In this video right here, go watch it because it will help you a lot. Excellent preparation, best of luck, and see you later. Bye.